welcome back to The Drop, a podcast exploring the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. My name is Claire. I'm an Akashic Records reader and shadow worker and a lot of things. And today, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that goes on like in the spirituality, healing spaces, circles that I think are not very helpful or sort of pressuring or judgmental in some way, or I suppose really just more performative than anything. Before we get into that, though, I do just want to add a little thing here of, a recognition of what is happening in the United States. If you are in the United States, if you have been keeping up with all that is going on, first, I want to say that I see and I feel your grief and your anger. What's happening is disgusting. And the thing is, it's nothing new. The illusion and the masks have simply fallen away. The powers that be don't care anymore. I think it's really a bit deeper than that in terms of energetically and spiritually what's going on, but this nastiness is right in front of our faces. And in that, it is so, so important to remain anchored in our hearts, to remain connected to our higher selves, to spirit, and to act in love and in compassion, not react out of, coming from our unconscious shadow, to not react in a vengeful way, but to show up empowered and embodied and in love for everyone that is being affected by this. It's so important to be in community with each other, to look out for each other, and also to really, really be clear on where we're at in our shadow work journey, on clearing the energetic cords and implants and templates and all of the things that this gnarly, inorganic, life-sucking shadow matrix is and has been built around us in the world. So if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, if you find yourself needing support in any way, please do not hesitate to reach out. I am here to support you in any way that I can. And I'm here to to stand against all of this, because it's beyond words. It's beyond words. And yeah, that's all I have to say for now. So let's get into it. And so, we see all of these different things. Like, we see, like, the witch aesthetic with all the crystals and the smoky sage and the herbs and the candles and this and that. We see, like, the cacao circles, the plant medicine circles, the going to the Tulums and the Balis and the Egypts and, like, all the different, like, kind of big spiritual places. In all the white flowy linen and the aesthetic of all of it. And then we see all of the, someone goes through an awakening period and they quit their corporate job and now they're a healer and all this stuff, all of these different things that, like, sort of make up this spiritual aesthetic bubble. And one, it's sort of a pipeline, just like for the ego to just blow up and expand. It's also, I find, in a lot of ways, not all the time, but I find that it can be very, like, disingenuine. It can be a bit fake. It can be a bit surface level, and it can be way more performative than it is actually helpful. And I want to put something out there just right off the bat. To me, spirituality, working with the soul, primarily is about returning home to yourself and removing all of the veils and illusion and shadow and, like, falsity of negative energy, wounding, trauma, programming, false beliefs, societal pressure and expectation, and just, like, returning to the light of who you are. And the light of who you are doesn't have to look like someone in flowy linen doing yoga and attending cacao ceremonies or sound healing circles or journeying through an ayahuasca ceremony, if that isn't who you are. Again, I don't think any of these practices are wrong. I've talked before about how there's a lot of neo-colonialism within the spiritual space, a lot of cultural appropriation within the spiritual space. And so, like, the use of some of these things and practices, how you go about it, like, I think in some ways it is wrong. The thing itself, not necessarily. If you're just doing it to fit in to certain spiritual circles, or because you think that's, like, what spirituality is, but it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't feel like you, it isn't who you are, then you're just removing yourself even further from who you are. And that's not helpful. That's completely counteractive to the effort of returning home to yourself. And so, yeah, I want to talk more about this, because what I see happening so much, like, I think it's really cool that people are waking up and they're like, wait, there's way more to life. There's way more to myself than what I thought. There's like so many layers of illusion and distortion and just lies, basically, that have been piled on top of me that I've been carrying my entire lifetimes even, that I'm like done with. Like, that's awesome. It is also sort of becoming a homogenized, let me look up that word. I think that's the word that I want. Homogenized. Oh, no, that's not. That's not what I meant at all. So disregard that. It's all becoming just like this one thing. And if you don't associate with this one specific thing, like it's generic, it's basic. And I think it's actually kind of washing away people's individuality, people's own frequency, like personal frequency. And your personal frequency is so important. Your set of eyes on something, your expression of self, and thus expression of spirit, is so important. And when it's just shown one way, like I said, people kind of start to separate parts of themselves or align with something that isn't true to them. And that's counteracting the whole point. Two, it also kind of turns into like a members only club of like, if you don't dress like this, if you don't do these practices, if you're not like this, then you're not spiritual. You have to do this or look like this or whatever to be spiritual. And that's just not true. Being spiritual is being alive and being aligned with who you are, with your higher self and with spirit. And it's just so important to remember that. Like, being spiritual does not mean that you have to quit your job, whatever your job might be, and start doing like tarot readings for people, or become an astrologer or a breathwork facilitator, or surf cacao every full moon. It means that you are who you are, where you are, and you are sharing the frequency of love, of yourself, of your higher self, of spirit, where you are. And that is needed. And I think about this all the time. Like, I was having a conversation, I think with my partner. I don't remember who, but where I used to live, there was a gas station down the street. Whenever I would stop in to get gas, whatever, this lady was in there, and her energy was just pure and divine and just reverberating in love. And anytime I stopped in there and I saw her and I got to talk to her for a minute, I would just leave so grateful, because it's like, yes, I just got to be around someone that is connected to spirit, is connected to their soul. And they are sharing that frequency in that space, inside of a gas station. Perfect. Do you know how many people come in and out of a gas station a day? How many people that are maybe suffering, in need of love, in need of tenderness or compassion, and because that woman is there, just pouring all of that out of her heart, people are receiving it. You don't have to go to some spiritual center out of the country or something to receive that. You don't have to go do that. You don't have to change your job to just hold that frequency of love, of spirit. You can just be where you are. And you don't have to do stuff to be more spiritual. Like, for instance, I, the other day, channeled this like entire program basically while I was sitting on my couch crocheting a sweater. You know? It came through. And I was like, okay, great. There it is. Awesome. Thank you. You know? It came through because I was doing something that I love, because I was in my heart, because my nervous system was at ease and comfortable, and my higher self was like, yeah, this is the perfect time. Like, she's happy. She's full of joy right now to just like be crocheting a sweater. I didn't have to go sit with plant medicine. I didn't have to go through an entire dogmatic process to connect with my soul and with spirit, because I'm just connected. And I think that's the whole point, is just being connected and allowing yourself to express that connection in the way that it comes through. Like, I've seen so many people go through the wake up, you know, go through the awakening, and then suddenly their personalities change, their style of clothes change. And in some ways it's good, because it's like, wow, cool. I just watched so much like shadow and distortion fall away from them. In other cases, it's like, I don't see your soul in this. I see this need to assimilate into what you think is right in this. And I myself have gone through this before. Like, I was seeing a healer and I understood what she said. Like, she was like, you know, you've been in the darkness for so long and you wear black all the time, but like, you're coming out of the darkness now. Like, you need to wear more colors. You need to wear bright colors. You need to like wear a scarf around your head with bright colors. And I was just like, what? And she was like, no, like it'll help you like embody the light more. And in some ways I get that, you know, in some way, like I did shroud myself in a lot of things. Like I would keep my hair down around my eyes. I wouldn't really wear flashy, exciting clothing because I was so inwardly turned and just didn't want, you know, attention, didn't want to be seen. And so I was like, okay, like maybe I'll just try it. Maybe I'll go, I don't know, get some more colorful clothing. I like had this scarf that I like put around my head and I was just like, Claire, what the fuck are you doing? Like this is not who you are. This is ridiculous. And I was like making myself wear these bright clothes and stuff, like textures that I don't usually wear. I'm like very, very sensitive and weird about certain textures touching my body and my skin. And it was just like so uncomfortable. And it finally hit me like, wait, this is what one person said I should do, but like, what is my soul saying? And so I like started listening to myself again. I started listening to my soul again. And as simple as picking out clothing, I would just tap in, ask my higher self, like, all right, what's like most in alignment for me to wear today? Like, what color, what type of outfit, like, what's the vibe? Sometimes I still look like the little black-clad goth person or like punk that I did when I was 17. Sometimes I look really girly and like feminine and whatever, or super colorful. And when I'm wearing something that feels right at the right time, I'm more in myself. I'm more in my body. I'm more in my soul and my higher self, everything. And that's just so important. Like, don't edit yourself to look a certain way, to feel like you have to fit in with a certain spirituality aesthetic, whatever that aesthetic might be. If it doesn't feel right for you. Like I've talked about this a little bit before, but I've never really been a fan of yoga. I'm not going to get into the like why, but I've never been a fan of yoga. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've done yoga. It's just not for me. I don't feel connected to spirit. I don't feel really even that connected to my body. What does that for me is dancing. Whether it's ballet or contemporary or even, I have a pole. That's my pole. Like, yeah. And I guess like when you look at the general aesthetic of spiritual people, healers, whatever, they're not out there pole dancing, but like that is one of the most healing things for me. I am able to move emotion that does not have a chance of having words or sound through my body when I'm dancing on the pole, when I'm dancing in the studio, when I'm doing ballet, when I'm working out at the gym. So whatever it is, whatever you do, however you dress, do it for yourself, not to appease society, not to appease a certain aesthetic. Do it because it is what your soul lights up about. Do it because it brings you joy. Because, joy is so important, especially in this day and age where we're just being bombarded of things that are just so devoid of joy, so devoid of spirit, of happiness, of love, of truth. The more that we can anchor into our souls and anchor into spirit and anchor into that frequency of joy and love and hope, the better we will be, the better those around us will be, because that frequency is just emanating from us, and things start to change. Things are more honest. They're not performative. They're not for the Instagram reel or whatever. They're real. And what is lacking in this world right now is realness. So be real wherever you are, whatever you do. Do it with your soul. Do it with spirit, and be real about it. Don't edit yourself. Don't morph yourself into something that you think you're supposed to be because that's what everybody else is doing. No. In fact, if everybody else is doing it, I just probably wouldn't. Maybe not for everything. But be you, tap into you. And that is one of the most spiritual things that you can do. Because there are other people out there like you that need the tone of your medicine, that need your specific frequency, your specific energy as an activation. Maybe they'll just see you and they'll be like, holy shit, that's what I've been looking for this whole time. That's the permission that I needed. And then their life changes. We have a much bigger impact than we realize. And that impact deepens when we're acting from our heart rather than acting from a space of trying to fit in and assimilate into something that isn't us. All right. This is a little bit of a shorter one today, which is probably good, but I think that's all for now on that topic. And just an update, the membership, Shadow Maven, has launched. And I'm so excited about it. Oh my God, I'm so excited about it. I guess I can talk a little bit more. I know I shared a video about it the other day, but in this course, or membership really, it's not a course, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces. There are meditations, healings, and teachings all around the shadow realms, your underworld realms, everything. There is a monthly group clearing and healing each month. So when you are part of the membership, you just have access to that. You'll have access to the recordings of it. If you can't make it live, it's all part of the membership. For those that can, or that aren't part of the membership but want to join the monthly healings, you can do that as a drop-in price. I'll be updating that, just as things get rolling and everything. And then also within the membership, because aside from the monthly group meetings or session, all of this is on your own. You also have access to discounts for my single session offerings as well as my private mentorship, the Threshold membership. I've realized, especially like for people that are kind of new to this type of work or new to me, to my work, I sometimes can drop in a little bit quickly, and it can kind of be like, whoa, okay, this is a lot. And like, needing to find your footing within all of it. So the Shadow Maven membership is a really good space to just open the door, find your footing on your own, and then when you need support or you're ready to work on a more specific to you level rather than, the general meditations and healings within the membership, those discount codes are there for you to either book in a single session or dive into the mentorship. The mentorship, I cannot say enough about. I'm daily blown away by what is happening inside of that little corner of my universe. My clients that have like chosen to enter into that are moving so much energy and opening up worlds inside of themselves, rediscovering aspects of themselves that like have blown my mind. Like, I don't know. It's incredible. And in that space, held in that container, the container is so strong and so supportive, and it primes your energy to be able to just go into it and really, really move and shift things and activate things. And yeah, I don't know. At a loss for words. I'm incredibly grateful. So if that's been calling to you, I would love to talk to you about it more. You can book in a free connect call, if you're curious, if you have questions, if you're ready to dive in, and we can talk and just see how I can best support you, because it is all built out around what you need. And so I really like to hear and talk with each person first. That way we can build out a bit of a framework of like where, different points of where we're going to start and go to, set the intention for that 11 session, like 3 to 5 month time period we're going to spend together, and move through it. And with that being said, it is tailored to you. It is tailored to what is coming up. And if I've learned anything, trying to make a plan is kind of hilarious sometimes. And so we move through it in flow with what is going on with your soul, what your soul is calling for. And I'm connecting with your soul, connecting with your higher self, your spiritual team, to see exactly what's needed, like step by step. So there's space and opportunity to change and shift, that initial framework that we set up together. So it's really cool. I can't say enough about it. So I'm going to stop talking now. That's all for today. I'll leave all the links for everything that I've mentioned below. And yeah, I'll just leave off with be yourself, listen to your soul, listen to your higher self, and just walk with spirit every day. And you're doing it. Okay. Bye for now. Sending you all the love.